Scott, thank you very much for the really nice introduction. And I want to first welcome everybody back from the U.S. exit 4th of July holiday. I don't know if you guys are aware, but the U.S. exit turned out pretty good. Well, at least up until, we figured out the next election stuff. But anyways, I'm very excited to be able to present to you guys. I still find it very valuable to communicate with my clients, and I'm still actively involved as the CEO in the development of the product. So that's one of the nice things you get when you work with trade ideas. The management really isn't removed from building the technology and creating products that are needed, because we still like to be in the game. Before we really get started with all of the presenting, I just want to make sure that everyone understands that Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. So all the information that you're going to receive today is going to be coming as for informational and educational purposes only. If you are looking for specific investment advice, you need to consult a registered investment advisor. So the first part of this presentation is going to be a slide presentation where, especially as it relates to people who aren't familiar with Trade Ideas, I'm going to give just a quick overview. So Trade Ideas is an aggregator of data where we take the data from the exchanges and social media, we take it into our server room in California, and we've been doing this since 2003. We keep track of every single stock on every single time frame at the same time. This allows us to let our subscribers know when something unusual is happening. The biggest problem in the market, well, it's twofold, and I'm going to explain really both of them real quick. But the biggest problem facing you and myself is that there's an overwhelming amount of information. In other words, how do you keep track of what's really happening and figure it out? Certainly you can't do it by hand. And the other information that we need to know is, well, what do we do? Like, how do we know when to do something? That's everything that we're going to just talk about, and this is what Trade Ideas specialize. We specialize in finding all the interesting information and then helping you figure out what to do with it, which way to go, which way to get out, and manage the risk. So the biggest thing that we have been doing since really the middle part of 2015, but starting January of 2016, is giving birth to the only artificial intelligence engine that's there for the trader and the investor. We're the only consumer-facing AI. In other words, now people can say that, hey, I use AI to figure out some sort of marketing metrics of how much people click on an ad or something like that, or Amazon uses AI to figure out, what to tell you to buy later on your grocery purchase or music list. But what we have here is the only consumer-facing artificial intelligence that is designed to help you be a better investor or trader. And I want to specifically talk about its performance and how we kind of bracket it. So the AI started on January 1st, 2016. And right off the bat, we happened to have started when, I don't know if everybody knew or remembers, going back 6 months, you should, but the January-February timeframe was the worst performing market open in market history. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So like the market opened, went up, and then proceeded to go down. The biggest difference that you should see right away is that our AI was able to catch that down move and let people profit in the down move's direction. When the market started to stabilize, and this happened a little quickly, but when the market started to stabilize around February and started to head up, our AI, again, was also heading up with it. If you look at the square in the middle, what you're going to see is various degrees of like how the AI performs. And again, I'm using the relative to the market example, because if you look at from this point all the way over here, you can see that the SPY, which is what we're using as the benchmark, has done almost nothing. So this is a very grinding type of behavior. Look at this right here. Then does well, and then big slide, and then just tries to go, and then Brexit happens. So when the market is doing nothing, it isn't easy even for an artificial intelligence to pull magic out of the market. And this is what we try to really make sure people understand. There's no way to predict what the market's going to do. You can only anticipate, but you cannot predict. Prediction is a sorcery. It's magic. It doesn't exist in real life. Our AI uses the best mathematics and large data crunching so that you can see what we see. And what I try to show is this. We catch more of the up moves, and the toughest things that happen is when the market grinds. Or, again, even if it creeps up but slowly and just does a lot of nothing over time. Like here, it's just creeping up very slowly. So this is kind of like a relativity example. This is how our AI is performed over time, but the beautiful part that really should help everybody understand why we believe we are the best technology for investors of all kinds is we really do know how to, number one, reduce risk in the market and make that risk turn into profit. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. There's really several key components that I'm going to demonstrate on the screen when we do the demo, but I'm kind of just highlighting overall. Trade Ideas isn't really just a platform or a technology. It's a complete way to experience the market in a new way. From the moment you join us to our community, and here again is a screenshot where Barry Anderson, who's our lead Trade Ideas moderator and trader, all throughout the day, he's like, whether, he and I joke that he's the Conan O'Brien and I'm the Andy Richter just on the, on the typing. But Barry is there from morning to close giving his own take on the market, and so are some of the best investors out there. One of the things that really separates us is that our trading room is free. See, many people charge for trading rooms because that's the only way that they can make money, hoping that you see them do something good and try to follow. But the problem with that is when it's just in human terms, it's very tricky to maintain. So we, as a way for you to understand the market better, we provide all of this support completely free. Okay, all throughout the day, from the open pretty much to the close, you get a community of vibrant users led by a moderator with sometimes some of the founders involved, talking about the market, sharing ideas, and everyone's bouncing ideas off of each other and how to use the tools of Trade Ideas to become better at what they do. So again, this is free. It's a must-have for everyone. You do not need to be a Trade Ideas subscriber to use our trading room, but it is something you want to be involved with. The things that I'm going to be talking to you guys about today really have a lot to do with what's happening here. We have the new beta is 4.073, and what we've done is, and I've had this, this slide goes back several presentations, but the way we do it is we have taught our AI how to really manage risk better, more like a human, okay? So that when she's positive in a trade, she won't let a trade go negative unless, again, there's just something statistically so viable about doing so that that it's valid. And the same way to reduce risk. If you're in a position and it's not working for you, Holly has learned to not stay in that position unless, again, something's happening to make her want to do it. I'm going to really talk about these two things in a completely different way and kind of hint at what's going to be happening in the new upgrade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize the presentation, and what I want to do is I want to make sure, is everyone able to see my screen? There's a lot of stuff on it, and we're going to go over it, but is everyone able to see it? Okay, great, great. Thank you. Okay, so for those of you who are visiting or who are new, and for those of you who already use Trade Ideas, we all know that we kind of position ourselves as the Netflix of the market, but with better technology, because you have to have better technology in the market. It's just not about serving up Game of Thrones. We have game of other things to serve up. So we have a channel bar that investors are able to surf all throughout the market to find interesting things that are specific to them, and you just go back and forth and back and forth. But there's something else. If you have something you like for example, I have this view mode right here that I really like the way everything works, and I'm presenting it to everybody. So I can go to the cloud right here, and the cloud's voting, it goes to our server, and I'm going to say, what am I going to say? Whoops, sorry. File, save, or share to cloud. So I'm saving this whole layout, and I can say start from scratch, entire layout, and I'm going to call this Dan's Q&A. And there's a reason why I'm showing you all of this. So now this is saved. Okay, I've saved the whole Dan's Q&A webinar, and what this will allow me to do is I can go to my social media channel right here, and I can surf there and see, well, what was going on today at the close on the social media channel that might make me think about something to watch tomorrow. And I'm going to start showing you the process that all successful trade ideas users have and use to beat the market and just do much better than you've ever thought. Okay, so first of all, again, I didn't have to program anything. I just clicked on my social media button, and this is showing me information, and the titles are all at the top. You have two charts, a 5-minute for that what's going on right now, and a longer-term daily. So that you can see, like, Chesapeake Energy had ran up in March to 7, had a gigantic pullback, has been consolidating, and just something happened here. Now, the market is closed. I cannot do anything about that, and maybe I don't want to, but what I can do quickly is I can right-click here and set my alert. And I'll say that energy has been running, saw on social get long. The beautiful part about trade ideas is, again, our advanced functionality lets you take advantage of the market in a way that you really can't take advantage of in any other capacity. So now that I've put my Chesapeake in, okay, I can move on and I can look at another stock, GSAT. Notice that it was very similar to Chesapeake, and I can just put in my alert right here and note to myself, another energy play, I like it, from social channel. So the reason I can make all these notes is that when I get alerted to this later on, I will know exactly, you know, something that struck me, that, hey, this was on the social channel, people were talking about it, in this case a little bit more than normal, and I just have an approach and I'm ready. Additionally, you have things in the market that everybody in our trading room was discussing today, which is TRCH, okay? What makes the stock market so amazing, and one of the reasons why all of you should be involved, is this. TRCH, probably something you're not going to be reading about or hearing about on CNBC, as they're so busy talking about FOMC meetings and interest rates and things that, again, might be important if you're running a country, but not that specifically important to you as an investor. But what's important to us as investors is unusual returns. Look at from 0.7 to 1.7. You know, that's almost 300% here in a day's range. And look at the beauty. There's 12 million shares traded. But the beauty about this situation is this. If you were in 1,000 shares of this, you know, you could have made $1,500 possible dollars. I mean, of course, you could have also been off. You could have bought right here and could have been down $700. But the point is, you also have pretty much knew that if it went to zero, okay, that there was no issue. I mean, you know your downside instantly. Your upside's infinity, but your downside is very, very visible. This is the big advantage of being in the stock market and investing actively the way that we do and the way that we show people. You have you put all of the things together to help you succeed in a better way. So what we're going to do now, and by the way, all of the alerts and all of the limits that I put in for everybody who's a subscriber, I share them with everyone. So there's nothing here. If you have access to Trade Ideas and the Trade Ideas Advanced functionality, all you have to do is reach out to us, and we'll give you all that information later on in the webinar, where you will be able to get all of these signals. So again, in this case, as I'm watching this torchlight, and again, I'm seeing a trade, what I'm going to say is that I'm going to let it pull back, and I'm going to say this would be still a good buy. Pulling back. And I can make a note. Still a good buy. Okay, now we have this ready if it comes back to us. If it goes up even higher, again, you can do the same thing. You can set up another alert right over here. And you can say, it is trying one more time. So we don't know what's going to happen. And what I want to show you, okay, so if you look at some of these stocks, whether it's, oh, I'm sorry, not BTG, it's VGI, I believe. Yeah. So look at the behaviors that have been taking place because, again, there's just not exactly the perfect information dissemination network that is the market. Some information is getting out, not everybody knows what it is, and the finance structure lets people take advantage and be in situations they want to be in. You want to be exposed to this. We are always looking for this. Notice that, again, if Apple Computer gave us the possibility to make 300%, we would be an Apple Computer. If Twitter gave us the possibility to do that, we would be in Twitter. If GoPro, Intel, Cisco, nobody at Trade Ideas suggests that trading one type of stock is better than trading another one. What we simply say is you need to look at the numbers, go where the odds are. And that's the whole approach that really differentiates Trade Ideas from everybody else. We give you awareness of this, and then our AI is also aware of it, and it tries to find these interesting opportunities as well. Let me, again, show you some other stocks that have behaved this way before. We've talked about MGT. Look at this move that this stock made from 52 cents to $5.56, all the way back to $2, and now 100% up higher. I mean, I cannot stress this any more. This is where the percentages are. And notice, these are days, you know, there's opportunities, and again, and we're watching them. You need to be here. You need to be aware of what's happening. Same place, right here, look, VRX, okay? One of the biggest things that we talk about in terms of investing is that some of the best trades are trades that are bottom-picking trades. The problem is this. See right here, this looked like a bottom, this looked like a bottom, it really looked like a bottom here, maybe even here, here, here. It was like really trying, and then it failed. All the way down to here, this looked good, this looked good, and then another gap down, but here it is one more time. You just need to be aware of it because you have to know that there's this area right here that exists that's incredibly emotional. Okay? This is what's called the void. Something happened, another investigation, incredible panic. If you start having another one of these like upward moves with significant volume, you could see an immense amount of volume come into VRX. And in fact, here, let me show you something. You can take any stock that we have in a top list. So these lists with a T are called top lists. And not every window streams. When you see a timestamp, that's when the windows are streaming. So VRX, I can right-click and I can say, send VRX to our single stock window. So this is kind of like a detailed window where you can really see key information about VRX right now. So look, just at the very high level, you've got high social activity. And for a company like VRX, which has a float of 316 million shares, to trade 14% of the float is very significant. Again, notice how when I'm speaking, you don't hear me talk about things like MACDs, RSIs, Kelters, Bollingers, because they don't matter. I'm talking about real things. Percentage of float is actually kind of like a physics thing. You know, there's only so much of the float, and the more it turns over, de facto, the more active the market and the stock is. So here, what you see in VRX is that there's a short float of 12%, so you can do the math. It's like 60-something million shares are short, and there's been more shorts recently, but it's possible that right here, I mean, this is never super, it's not like as of today. All those numbers, they're kind of done a little bit late, but it's very possible this is the covering. You know, you never know when Citron or somebody else writes another piece, and all of a sudden this thing could run to 40 very quickly. That's the kind of stuff that we're looking for. And also look at the percentages. This is a 15% move in a day. Okay? So when you're hearing about, oh, you know, the averages and 2% and 3%, these are memes that you've been trained to digest. Okay? Forget about that. There are ways to make higher percentages. This is the whole thing that we are trying to bring to the table. You just need to be aware of the data and be able to go to it whenever you need. So this Netflix channel surfing approach, it works. We have different channels that look for specifically different things. Here on the search channel, you really are kind of looking at something as it starts to run. You know, it's like when the volume comes in, and it doesn't necessarily have to be positive volume. We're just looking for any kind of volume. Like here, FSM, new lifetime high on unusual volume. That is a great sign. And you can say, literally, you can say to yourself, let's see, buy, pulled back, looks good. By the way, you can see that all of the minerals, you know, they've been getting annihilated, and now they've been kind of picking themselves up. As the real key here is the as it happens part. Okay? You want to see it as it happens. And what's really cool is that in trade ideas, you can kind of get to say to yourself, wow, look at this day or these moves. I mean, it's a very continuous trend. Again, one of the reasons is that a lot of people don't know about all of the stocks that are out there that are available. You're constantly being fed a diet of FANG. You know, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google. But my goodness, there is so much more and so many more opportunities. And really, you just have to open yourself up to it. So, okay, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go to my cloud, and I'm going to reopen Dan's webinar, just the way I had it before. Okay, I actually think I have extra copies of these windows that I don't need. Yep. Let me erase them real quick. So right now, what everybody's watching is the AI channel. Okay, this is our channel of AI trades as they happen. And this is what happened today. The AI opened, like in the first 30 minutes, it was up close to $1.50. It gave some back because it was short. And then it made some more money and pretty much stayed consistent, up 63 cents. Very good percentage returns on the shorts. We had 100% on 9 trades short this morning in this type of market. By the way, that was only possible because of the better profit-taking modes that we created and taught the AI. This is the beauty about really utilizing this technology. So what I really want to talk about today is what these two things are and how to really take advantage of them. So here is kind of like your AI scorecard. As trades take place, they appear in another window that I've closed right now, but they all happen in real time. You see the entry time, you see the trade, the symbol, the price, and the P&L. As the trades are wound down, they move to the closed trades window. And this window is basically a way for you to view information in two modes. Closed profit means risk off. That means if you were very risk conscious, if you didn't have a lot of money to lose and you wanted to just be conservative but still do very well, you follow this mode. It's called risk off, and it's the closed profit. And this is what we made, where we made the 63 cents. And you can see what mode caused the exit. Again, all of this was happening for you. So in other words, remember, this artificial intelligence channel, Holly, she is telling you what to buy, when to buy it, when to sell it, how to manage it. Same thing for the downside. If there's a short opportunity, she'll tell you what to short, when to short it, how to manage it. The only thing that you have to do is figure out if you want to follow her and if you want to follow her exactly. So today, just like every day right now, Holly is crunching numbers. And after the holiday weekend, we had, let me just circle here, we had five strategies. We had more. I always have this set to active. So we had 7 strategies. We had 3 longs and 4 shorts. That means that Holly was ready for anything, but the things that worked today, the ones that were active, were 3 shorts and the 2 long strategies. Out of the, let me just read. I'm constantly able to, again, filter this or configure it in any way to see the data. So here I can see on the long strategy for stocks pulling back, we had 2 trades, both of them profitable. And it tested to 61.7%. So what this means is this is our MIT card counting approach to the market. So Holly, right now, just like she did before on Friday, she's going through millions of trades, looking where the statistics are in the market and just figuring out what can I do where it's statistically viable. And these were the things that we had it. And this was the actual versus the historical. And again, we always want that to match as much as possible. But to explain the fact that you can't predict the market, here's Mighty Mouse, one that actually won 13 cents, but only had 40% profitability. So only 40% out of the 5 were profitable, but the ones that weren't were very small losers. This is the thing that really differentiates us from everyone else. If you go to Online Trading Academy or all these other people that try to teach you to trade, it's a lot, the concept is the same. Watch what I do, follow me, make inferences. But here's the thing, there's nobody that does as many trades for you to follow, and nobody who has these clear signals. So look at the losses. The worst loss was 25 cents. That's a stop hit. That's a really, even though, again, it wasn't perfect on a percentage formation, and the fact that, again, the market itself started to run, all that tells you is that we can manage the trades. The AI knows how to manage it. So taking these small losses and knowing when to take them, it's just a very good way to be in the market. It's the statistically sound way to be in the market. Okay. By the way, everyone, I'm going to get to stocks and your questions in approximately 10 minutes or so. So I'm still just going over because it's very important that I kind of give you the Holly Trinity. Okay. So one of the things that we talk about is how do you get the most out of the AI? How do you know what to follow, when to follow, and get the most out of it? So this is where I want to point everyone's attention. I'm going to expand this just so you can see it. these two columns, the non-exit versus the closed profit. This and this right here, our trade ticker, which is the new high versus new low count, is kind of like your gateway to figuring out what you want to do. Let me really explain what I mean. So as Holly enters trades, all this is still blank because, starting with the first trade, there's just one open trade, no closed trade. So you watch, typically, I instantly kind of pull it up and I have a feeling, what do I want to do? If it seems relatively good, I'll get in it. If it seems like it doesn't, feel good to me, I might hesitate. But at least I know that statistically speaking, the numbers, I have some attachment to the statistical probability of what could happen. And again, I've seen her perform, so I kind of have some expectations. But here's the deal. Watch the closed profit. If the closed profit is higher than the non-exit, and today the non-exit was definitely worse because, again, the shorts turned around and the market ripped up. So you would have lost money if you just had held on to these trades. But the way you follow, how do you know if things are risk on or risk off? What you should do is, if this is higher, you follow it. So today it was all risk off. But when this is higher, you follow, you give Holly more room. You don't have to be as risk averse. She will always do both. She's going to play a risk on and risk off, non-exit and closed profit. But you have a chance to work around. And that's what Barry and I are constantly talking about. And really no better example today than Tahoe Resources. The one thing that we're very proud of is that, unlike everybody else, we can really point you to the exact examples of what we're talking about, and hopefully you can use that as, an inference. So Holly got into strong stock pulling back. So right here, we got into Tahoe Resources. Like, it was right here. It went up, it went down, went up, and it basically flatlined, and Holly ended up getting out with zero. In other words, the closed profit or the risk off move when the time allotted exit happened was I'm out. Zero. In other words, no gain, no loss. But what we do differently than everybody else is, since we have these two modes, and this mode is what we call it non-exit right now. Both of these are being switched to closed profit risk on, non-exit risk off. Because you can now monitor a trade that you would have otherwise gotten out of, you can always keep tabs on this P&L. And this is what we do. So, like, for example, as this started to get positive, right, like right around maybe over here, you could have told yourself, wow, the market's positive, and it was very positive. This Holly trade that I'm time stopped out of is now working. I'm going to get back in it. And in fact, I'm pretty sure several people in the room did that. But this is exactly how we do that. Another example, and I'm going to actually make an alert out of this one, okay, is this one called SSI. So Stage Stores. Like right here, it doesn't look like anything exciting, but something in Holly said this thing could be very interesting, okay? So we got out of it for a penny loss, but it actually ended up going a little higher. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to set a limit. But again, I can visually now say, hey, this was brought up to my attention. This is part of our keep it simple plan. It's brought up to your attention. You just set an alert for when you believe the time is right. And I think it's 5:10. And I'm going to say the time is right. Again, now you see it. Now it's marked. This is the way you do real homework, okay? Real homework is not done sitting there drawing 700 lines and looking at moving averages, because all those things, honestly, are, for the most part, distractions to you being able to make quick decisions on the fly. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help you make quicker decisions on the fly. So I want to summarize real quick, then we're going to take a small break for Scott, and then I'm going to finish off with questions and more examples. So Steve and Jamie and Andy and I, we all kind of call it the Holly Trinity, where you have the AI, you're looking at interesting things all day, and just by the way, I mean, again, the direction isn't the critical part. You can see like, wow, you know, all the oils have been running, and Holly had assumed that if there was a top, these would be really toppy, and they probably would have, but the market just kept running. So the idea is you want to take what you have and then go the other way if you need to. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to right-click on this, and I'm going to say blue sky. So what I mean by blue sky is that there's really no resistance at this level. That means APC has just cleared everything out. That means there could be, if there are people that are short, and it's very possible that there are, they are going to really be covering. Okay, so we get the names. Here, I'm going to send this to the single stock window. Short growth, no short growth. So they've already been. there is no more short. They're almost out of it, or at least just at 2%. So that there really could be a big run coming if it breaks out of this level. And again, we'll share all of this. Different stocks behave in different ways. RGLS. I mean, nobody would have wanted to be a long-term investor in this. Look at this thing. But we want to pick it up here. This is the void fill. You know, in these therapeutics companies where cancer is in play, again, this is where you want to be. This is what we're going to present to you. And when I come back, we're going to go over more examples. And again, I'm going to answer specific questions on how to help you take more out of the market. Scott, let's jump in. I'm going to wait for Scott.
Yeah,
See if
as soon as I turn
he
myself off mute. Hey there. All right, yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about our subscription plans. There you go. Yeah, so something we like to do to thank everyone for showing up is give them a little bit of an incentive to either join us as a subscriber or upgrade to the premium model. And you can use that code that you see on your screen right there, QA demo, all caps, and it takes 15% off your order total at checkout. So you can get your first year of $18.88 for premium, less 15% right now, and it's a great way to get started with trade ideas. So we're software as a subscription company, and we have two tiers. We have Trade Ideas Standard, which is TI Pro there in that column, and it's only $99 a month, so it's a really low barrier of entry to get into this kind of technology that we offer. That includes your exchange fees. It includes a free hour of training. It includes the charting that you see, and you can also try out the backtesting tool for 10 runs. It's a pretty great way to get started with trade ideas, and that same tier is also available at only $888 per year, which saves you quite a bit over the $99 per month. But the flagship is the premium model, and that's the one that's $1,088 per month or $1888 per year, and that includes complete unlimited access to our AI, Holly, and price alerts, and the red bar ignore, green bar ignore, all the other top-end items that we have, including unlimited backtesting if you want to work out your own strategies as well. And there's no programming needed at all. So unlike using something like TradeStation where you have to program and look at one stock, you can test an entire universe of stocks or whatever basket of stocks you want with no programming, backtested, or take a look at Holly and see how she's trading today, and that gets some really excellent trading ideas off of that, as you can see. So again, you can just go to trade-ideas.com/price. There's also a nice little handout for you. If you go to your handouts panel and you go to webinar interface, there's a PDF that contains this page and also the page that links to the new beta download, and a page that includes your support and answer links to get your questions answered. You know, our email links, Dan's Twitter, all that kind of good stuff. I will come on at the end probably and thank you again for joining us. Dan's going to go ahead and answer some of your questions if you have time, I think. And remember, this session is recorded, and you'll get a link to this in an email as a follow-up about this time tomorrow. So you can go ahead and watch this again if you need to. Dan, I think you're going to take some questions now?
Scott, yes, thank you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some questions. I can also look at some stocks for you. Wayne, you asked a very good question. Wayne wanted to know, well, where can we find out more about what Holly's doing? And it's kind of like an interesting answer and an interesting question. one of the things let me describe at least a little bit so that everyone understands, and a lot of you already know this, but the AI consists of 45 algorithms that are exploiting different things. Some of them are looking for a stock that's breaking out, like this APC. Like you can imagine, if this breaks out of here, there will be there's a strategy called 52-week highs or blue skies. I mean, again, it's looking for this type of behavior, analyzing it statistically and seeing if it works. There's other strategies like this one, like TNP, which is trying to find bottoms. So we completely don't have any specific preconceived notions about what's working. Is it a bottoming formation? Is it a topping formation? Just like the MIT card counting team, we are purely a mathematical approach to it. So these 45 algorithms compete in what we call the quantitative combine. That's this. So right now, as we are doing the webinar, Holly is working on crunching numbers. So all of this gets kind of thrown back into the mix, and she redoes the whole market, every trade on every stock, looking at every strategy that could have worked or should have worked to figure out what can I do tomorrow, learning what I learned today. Like for example, today, Holly would have learned that stocks that initially gapped down probably were good trades to get long. And we have strategies that are like that. Hey, gap down and reversal. So we have all those exploitations she learned today, and then she will take that knowledge, add it to another quarter worth of data. So Holly's always looking back a quarter, with today being the last day. And she'll be ready tomorrow with a brand new set of strategies that are hopefully best suited to optimize what's going on in the market based on what just took place. Robert, it's very possible. Yes. And again, you will see that go both ways. So sometimes when Holly gets on again, a more meaningful statistical path, the non-exits, which is risk on, I mean, they've been as high as, I believe, close to 100 points before. I mean, seriously. And by the way, again, that question, we are, I believe, doing a promotion. Scott, maybe at the end, you'll give people some heads up on what we're doing in terms of open house. I don't know if that's ready or not, but I know that there was something in the works. And again, I want to make sure I don't accidentally step on Scott.
It's something we'll be launching tomorrow, so anyone that signed up here is going to find out about it then. So, not quite ready.
Yeah. Okay, all right, well, so yeah, everyone here will get an email. So, again, the idea here, guys, is exposure to the best things and a game plan. So the way I also look at it is this is Madden. You know, I always said, I'm from University of Texas, and I've posted stuff about myself on Twitter, and I'm very active on social media, but I always talk about my experience. It was my experience at the University of Texas championship game against Alabama that kind of gave birth to some of what you're seeing here on the AI, because literally after the first play, Colt McCoy, who was the quarterback for the University of Texas Longhorns, was injured. Of course, we didn't know because we're up there, you know, in the nosebleed seats, and all of a sudden the game's continuing, there's a new quarterback, but you have no idea what's going on. And I honestly, like, when that happened, I was like, man, I bet that's how some traders feel, again, about trades they've been in, which things they should look at. So we want to trade ideas to kind of be the Madden or Netflix of financial technology. Look at these names, okay? So we have this thing called the top predator list. Both of these windows and the trend change lubricant factor, these are windows that are some of the most powerful windows in all of finance. Look at the things that you are going to be seeing. So look at this move. This is exactly what we're talking about, okay? You want to be exposed to this, and for all of you that are just looking, look this up tomorrow, mRNS. You know, put like your alert like around 180 and call it void time for myself. And say, okay, so let me explain also one more thing, and this is very important, in terms of why does what we're doing work. here, and how is this different than some of the things you hear about random walk and stuff like that? So there's a lot of confusion about the stock market. You know, people talk about this example, how you can come up to a roulette table where people are spinning and you can see, look, somebody's just spun 25 reds together. Surely the next one's not going to be a red. You're going to bet against it. Okay? But of course, the odds are really the same for every single spin. You know, there's no difference. So even though you saw the 25 reds before, the next red had nothing to do with that. They're all virtually like independent tosses. But the market's not like that. Let me explain a simple reason why. Imagine I'm sitting there and I'm looking to sell my Apple computer at $90 because that's just what I want to do. But I have that as an order that says I'm only going to sell it when it's at 90 and Apple's at 90.1. But then you come into the market and you short sell Apple, and because of your trade, Apple hits 90, which then triggers my trade, and then I sell Apple, which could trigger another trade, and so on and so forth. So the trades are much more intertwined. It's not completely independent of one another. And once you take that independence away, that really means that there's only two ways to go about speculating. Okay? You can either do it just by discretion, which means that you look something up, you're like, I like it, maybe. I mean, this is what discretion is. Here's another one. And by the way, I'm using discretion from my top predator list, so you better believe everything's going to look good. Here's another one. Here's another one. But that's your discretion. What we're doing here is massive statistical analysis and data crunching. Okay? And that's why, you know, these stocks like RGLS, that's why they're being brought up to us to take a look at. And notice how RGLS and mRNS actually are behaving similarly. And again, that's why we're trying to say it's not the stocks that we really care about, it's the statistics and the patterns. These are similar things happening in different names. And now, let's set an alert for this one. Okay, I mean, and here, in essence, the void is already being filled. I mean, could really go. You know, I honestly feel like I missed it, but you never know with this. One of the best things that we love about these bottom plays and helping investors understand this is that when you have infinite upside and limited downside, that is a strategy that you always want to be involved with. You know, again, the meme of you can't pick bottoms is given to you by people that want to manage your money and by people who actually don't have access to big data. It's, again, a lot of it is just the stuff you've been fed so that you can give your money to other people. And we never, again, proclaim that all of your money should be managed by yourself, but you definitely have to have a certain part of your portfolio allocated to hoping to capture larger percentage returns where you can really see what the market's about. And that way, when things like this Brexit happens, you would have known not to panic, and hopefully none of you did, as I'm sure your wealth managers were panicking. That's the difference. We want value on the first impression. We want you to get trade ideas and instantly be able to work it, okay? That's what we want. So let me first, Bill, absolutely, I'd be more than happy to share the trend change lubricant. So one of the things that our community does, and everybody knows, is you can right-click on any window, and you can save or share to the cloud. Once I do that, okay, and I hit save and share, a window appears that allows me, again, I can share this on social media, or I can just copy this, and then I can paste it into the chat room, and hopefully it appeared. Or I can put it here in another part of the chat room for everybody to get it. So it's everything. It's the platform, it's the ability to share the data, and its ability to take advantage of things as they happen faster than everyone else. That's really the other thing as well. You guys are looking at the best technology for taking advantage of things in the market. The market has tons of supply and demand inefficiencies. Tons. This is, again, I'm just bringing up an example. Look at these stocks and look at the volatilities that have taken place. Here again, you could have been like, oh man, I'm just shorting this thing that's going to nothing. And look, here it is. It's trying to test again. So no one can predict what's going to happen. Okay? No one can predict it, but you want to be able to react to it. And there's no one that specializes in situational awareness and reaction with technology better than Trade Ideas. That's why you're here. That's the KISS Trinity. Holly brings it up. The lists bring it up. If you see it, put an alert on it, and then that's it. This alerting is part of the premium package, so you need to have access to Holly and the AI to be able to do that. But we just see that such a small, again, for what you're getting here, the world's only consumer-facing AI. And again, the ability to see the data clearly and say to yourself, very nice. And save. And just make these notes and move on. That's really the right way to study. So what I want to show you one last thing, because again, we're getting kind of close to the end. And what I want to show you is my price alerts. So everything that I'm doing here are in my alerts window. Okay, so here I have all these alerts that this is my homework. Okay, but the difference between me and a lot of other people is I want you to cheat. Because there's no way I'm going to be in all of this, but I'm setting myself up to really, again, take advantage of the things that appeal to me visually. And everything I just did is all in this list, including like key resistance points for Bank of America, for example. And again, some of these are way out, but I'm just saying that's how I look at this, and I see where could the potential be. That's really what it's about. We never say that tomorrow something has to happen. It's really just about getting yourself in a position that you're never going to be behind and go, oh, well, what was that? I didn't see it. That's never going to happen with Trade Ideas. And the other thing that's critical, okay, and I'm going to again go back to my cloud and let me go to the price alerts. Oops. Price alerts, windows. Okay, here. I'm going to go to my trigger, and I'm going to load these. Okay. So based on Steve Gomez's very good advice, when your alerts go from this state, the working state, to once they hit, we do, again, something else that really helps traders take advantage of the market. We make those hits like limit orders. In other words, you just bought that stock in paper trading mode. Except unlike other providers, we keep the tally for you. So you can see if your ideas are working and which ones are not. So look, here's how I grade myself. I become kind of just like the AI. Okay? So here, LEDS. Okay? Look, one of my calls. I said this would be the point. It hit this and boom, ran. I mean, this is all real. This is what happened. MGT was from above. I wanted to buy it at this level when it came down to it. I just made a mental note, and now it's come down to it. It traded below, crossed again, and here it is. CDXS. I was just, again, notice that pattern that you saw in here, MRNS. Here it is repeating. It's a numbers game, everyone. It's not magic. Put it in, make an alert, and now you see it. But of course, you're not always going to win. Here, one that, again, Holly also picked up. It was looking interesting, and I thought that it was going to continue to go, but it came down, but actually had some interesting levels. So here's the other cool thing. So look, you can take an alert that you had, and you can move it to where you think the next level is. So I just transferred that alert from the state of triggered to I just made this loser into a future trade. So again, you can kind of move back and forth and really get that feedback that no one else is going to give you because they don't have the data to be able to do this. This is, I mean, again, even if you think 188 or 1,888 for the year is expensive, I hate to tell you guys, there's nothing that comes close to what we do on the planet. And we just encourage you to try it. And again, as Scott said, we're going to have something where you're going to get an email about some trials. So let's kind of do a quick summary. And I saw some questions from Noggin and some other people. So Craig, first of all, there is automated trading, and it's been asked. Noggin, there's no such thing as any guarantee or money back for anything involving in investing, because the market can be predicted. We can just provide you with the best information that we can, show you that it's real, show you people that utilize it, including myself. But you have to take the plunge, and you have to risk something. Okay? If you're not going to risk it, you shouldn't be investing. And that's for everybody here. The biggest hurdle in front of individual investors is actually investing. Okay? So everyone, any other questions? So Shane, in the standard edition of Trade Ideas, you can create custom symbol lists, you have charts and all that stuff, but there is no, you can't mark them up on the chart because we use immense server technology to do that and keep the P&L, so that's part of the premium product. And that's why we believe the premium product is so worth it. Yes, absolutely, Noggin. One-on-one training is included in the premium and the standard version. That's one of the biggest things that we do, and I'm going to kind of get back to the element of this slide real quick. Our support is the biggest, highlight for Trade Ideas in terms of what we do. We kind of see ourselves as a concierge, in essence. We up-ramp you, we teach you how to do it, we give you a community where you can interact, and we're always there on support. So Shane, you're not confined to any alerts. You can have as many alerts as you want coming across your window, and there's no historical stock limits. You're just not able to create your own custom price alerts. You can create the scanning alerts in real time, and there's no limits to that or a top list. But you just cannot create customized price alerts based on AI or the top list. That's the premium feature. What I want to do, again, just real quick, these are the price breakdowns. This is your promo code for 15% off. But ladies and gentlemen, that should not be the thing that's preventing you from accessing our technology. The most important thing is we are available. As Scott said, it's very easy to get a hold of us. You can email us at info@trade-ideas.com. One of our key support members, Brad Williams, who's on vacation, but he's accessible at brad@trade-ideas.com. We really encourage you to check out all of our social media. We have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Please like us on Facebook. Post your own pictures. That's how people interact with technology. On Twitter, we have a very active community of people that just showcase Trade Ideas visually. And you can follow me on Twitter at TradeIdeas1, and our corporate account is at Trade Ideas. Scott, is there anything I'm missing, or are we all good?
No, I think we're all good. There might be a little confusion about the Lightspeed integration with Brokerage Plus. Currently, that's the only auto trading we have available for our new version of Trade Ideas version 4 that we're supporting, I believe. Correct?
That's correct. Listen, guys, we have a lot of stuff planned for the automation. It's just that, I mean, if you can imagine, there's really no company that's developing as quickly as we are. We invented and developed the AI. We launched it. We released it. We've improved it. We created this thing, Brokerage Plus, that works with multi-brokers, but we keep changing our version so quick, it's kind of hard to back into everything. So from that perspective, we are working on that, and that's a big, big priority. But all this stuff is designed to where you don't need the automation. That's the other thing too. This is designed for a human, and it's not designed for day trading either. And that's maybe the last thing that I want to leave on. All the AI trades, and let me just quickly just show you this. I am not a day trader. I'm actually much more swing oriented. Okay, and I brought this up right here. This is another example of that same type of move that we talked about. It's the same move that's happening here, just in a different way. So PRTO is one that I've mentioned to so many people in the room. I bought it at 622, and I still have it at 860. Just up 40% in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. That, ladies and gentlemen, is unusual alpha. That's what I want to leave you with, and I really hope you take advantage of the technology, try it out, attend our webinars, and also we do a trade of the week, which hopefully, again, if you're interested in, you're signed up for. I want to thank everyone. Thank you, Scott, for helping me.
Yeah,
and
thanks, Dan.
we look forward to having you on other webinars.
Yeah, and there's going to be a recording of this available later tonight or tomorrow morning. You'll all get an email reminder some point tomorrow during the day. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Those of you on the Trade of the Week newsletter list will get another invite, just in case you haven't signed up yet, in about an hour. And that webinar is in 2 hours. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Dan. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. Thank you.